podcast, Cinderella Chats. I'm your host, Cinderella Field. Yes, that's really my name, along with your co-host, Sandy Hunter. We are so excited to be here to share some insight about life, love, and relationships. So let's get to it. Hey, Sandy.
Oh, good morning. I'm so excited. It's getting close to Christmas.
I know. I can't wait.
Hark the Herald Angels sings.
Oh, yes. And I can just see I spend the night with my daughter.
Ooh, good tradition.
The night before. So that I can see the boys get up and run in to see what Santa has brought them and whether Santa has eaten the carrots and the cookies and drank his milk and whatever reindeer food they leave for Santa to give. I mean, it's just so much fun to watch that because that's what, and the letters that they write in, just like our children did.
Right.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I seen a wonderful, we have traditions. My kids come over, all of them come over on Christmas Eve and they open up all the gifts and grandkids open up all the gifts. Then Christmas morning, we get in our car and we go to their houses and watch. And oh my gosh, they're just so excited. But I was driving with Tripp in the car with me the other day and he had my phone back there and he said, Mimi, I just seen the coolest picture. And I said, well, what is it while I'm driving? And he leaned forward and he put the picture up. He said, look at this. And it was a picture of Santa kneeling at the hay and where baby Jesus was laying. And he goes, Santa knows whose baby Jesus is. I said, well, of course he does.
Who?
Yeah, Santa.
He doesn't know baby Jesus?
No, that's what he was saying. Santa knows who baby Jesus is.
Oh, well, yes, he does.
I said, well, of course he does. And then I had to go back and tell him the traditional story about Saint Nick and how Saint Nick, he gifted the orphan kids with gifts. And I had to tell him, how Santa Claus all got started. So it was so sweet because he was talking to his mom afterwards, a couple days later, and Mom said, Tripp, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want in Santa to bring? She's trying to get some ideas for herself. And he looked right at her and he said, Mom, it's about spending time with the people that you love. It's not about presents. He's 8. My heart just swelled. I thought, oh my God, he listened to everything that I was saying. And we still do not know right now what that kid really wants for Christmas. He told his mom, he said, I've got everything that we could possibly want. He goes, why would I want anything else? So I was just so elated that he knew what the true meaning of Christmas is about. And so with this holiday season coming, what do you have in plan?
Well, you know what? That reminds me of 2 incidents. Lisa at 3, driving down the street when we lived in Spring, Texas. And she was I could see her in the rearview mirror, and she was just gazing out into, like daydreaming or whatever.
Right.
And all of a sudden she said, Mommy, you know what? God doesn't like money. He doesn't like money at all.
Wow. And
I was like, oh my gosh. And then one of her posts that she just put up, and my son's the same way. I mean, my children are interesting. Chris likes really nice things, don't get me wrong. But we taught them to work. And we spent a lot of time with not my family per se, the other side's family. And so that was always important to them. And Lisa made a post that she already has what she wants, and it was just a picture of her family and just different things. And I said to her, that song, This Is My Grown-Up Christmas List? Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes. Why can't we be like that?
Why can't we be?
That's what I said to her. And so Tripp at 8 gets it. Yeah. And my children got it, but I think Lisa more so, and especially since she has family, it's not about the gifts, because if you watch children open gifts, they'll be playing with the box that they opened and took the gift out of.
Yeah. It's over commercialized. I think we can give too much of a good thing. This year, I talked to my husband and we decided, we're going to gift our kids with, something that they want, but then we're going to give them the gift of our time, our attention, the time together as a family, and not just on one particular day, but we're going to try to make a point to do it all year long. And that's going to be the gift, is spending more time together, getting to know each other, spending more time with our adult children. I love that my kids have, don't get me wrong, I love when my kids were small, but I love who my kids are, and I love spending time with them as adults. We always laugh. We always have a great time, which I know you do too. I've heard some of your stories, but then I just have to take to heart, there comes a time after, all the Christmas shows, It's a Wonderful Life and The Christmas Story, with the lamp is my favorite one. One of my favorite ones with the lamp. He wins the leg lamp. I love that one. There's a lot of them. Don't forget
Miracle on 34th Street.
Miracle on 34th Street. Home Alone. Mm-hmm. I love Home Alone.
Oh, you know what? I heard about Home Alone this morning. I was listening to K-Love. Mm-hmm. And the guy was telling a story. They do something about daily Bible verses. Mm-hmm. And wait a minute. No, I don't want to confuse those. So the guy, and I think it was Kelly, and the guy that sits there with Kelly sometimes was talking about how they were watching Home Alone, and he had to quit showing the part where the guy's hand gets burnt. Mm-hmm.
When he grabs the hot doorknob, I know exactly what part it is.
Oh, yes. And his son he went into another room and started crying. So he went in there and said, what's wrong? And he said, well, his hand got burned. And burning hurts. It hurts really, really bad.
Oh, no. What would have hurt me worse?
My son has told me that. He's just like, people that get burnt, it's just awful. And that's one of the things that I learned, too, because we had a burn center at the hospital. And it's very, very painful. So he just said, I told him, I said, you don't mind this happening, that happening, this happening, And he said, but the burning of the hand, he said, yes. He was just crying because another person was in,
pain.
I guess he knows what it feels like. Maybe he's accidentally burned himself. I don't know, but it's just a painful thing. So it's just interesting.
See, my painful thing would have been that spider that he puts on his face.
Correct. Girl. He said you're not afraid of the spider, and the spider didn't get you. And
I would have had a heart attack.
Said,
I can't do that. But when all those are played and said and done, I always revert back to Christ. And if no one has ever seen The Passion of Christ, I always revert back to the scene, and it is just burnt into my soul of Jesus's mother as he is in prison, and they have gouged him, and she is laying on the floor above where he's at, and he looks up at the ceiling in his cell, and he knows she's there. And then she takes a cloth and runs out to where they've beaten him and is cleaning up his spilled blood on the ground. Mm-hmm. And she watches him as he's going down through the streets carrying this cross, and she's running through all these passages just to get up to him, to see him one last time. And he looks at her, and the love that he looks at her with, that's the thing. After all the presents are gone, when we're laying in bed that night, after all the fun memories that have been created, my heart always goes back to the true reason why we celebrate Christmas, and that's of Christ's birth. He knew he was coming. He knew what was going to be expected of him, and the most non-narcissistic, non-selfish, there's not even enough adjectives to describe the gift that he's given to us. So I just want people to sit back this season and think, it's not about Santa like Tripp said, Santa knows Christ.
That's the pagan part of it.
Knows who Jesus is. Mm-hmm. But it's about love. It all comes down to love and the acts of kindness.
And sacrificial things.
Yes.
And,
love till it hurts.
Yes.
If you give to people, you should give till it hurts. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And give sacrificially.
Yes. You should try it. Try it this year. Make one new tradition to where you just go out, whether it is handing out a gift card at the gas station or walking into Walmart and knowing in your mind you're going to pay for the person's items that are in front of you. Let the Holy Spirit lead you to an individual that might need just that one breath of hope, that there are still people out there that care about people.
Hope, faith, and love, like we've talked about before.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's what it's about.
Sure. Sure.
That's the best gift of all. Mm-hmm. Love.
You want to give a single mom a gift? Take her children out to ice cream and keep them for an evening book read or something, and let her enjoy a bubble bath and some time to herself. Mm-hmm. You want to give a widow some love and attention? Invite them to your dinner table.
Mm-hmm. Or take them out to dinner.
Take them out to dinner. Spend time with them. Listen, people, there are people out there that are hurting at this time of year. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to be all gloom and doom, because I love Christmas, my favorite time of year. From October to January the 1st, I am all in 150%. I will decorate. I will have the best time. But after all the fun and games are over, we still live in a hurting world, and compassion, people, compassion.
Well, you remember what I told you the morning that we had breakfast a couple of weeks ago was on the Sunday before we met for breakfast. I heard that song on the way into the store, and Mary, did you know your baby boy? Yeah. Can you imagine?
No.
Carrying a baby that
knowing what was in store for him
is going to be her Lord and Savior, and to save hurting people in the world. I mean, that's crazy.
Very crazy. That's how
so go listen to that song and listen to it over and over until you can get it into your soul and into your heart. And then the other one was All the Kings. And then Sandy has her favorite too.
Oh, listen.
And we're going to end it with that, so we're not going to give it away just
No,
yet,
we're not going
right?
to, but I will tell you that I've never heard Drummer Boy perform like this ever. And
you just gave it away.
Well, this group, no, because when we think of Drummer Boy, I think of Bing Crosby. You know what I mean?
I think it's the rumpa-bum-bum.
Yes, this is polar opposite, people. I have never in my life heard Drummer Boy played like this. And I told Cinderella a couple weeks ago, I showed it to her and I thought, listen to this. Well, she was in awe too, because it's just not what you would expect.
You can't sit still. I'll just tell you that. And not only will we let you hear it at the end of this podcast, but then I'll put it on the website where you can see these guys, because it is
so talented.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal. I've never ever seen. I mean, it's
great. It's great.
Yeah.
So for family traditions, this Saturday, my mom's coming over and we have all kinds of things in store for her and going to spend time with loved ones. We'd like to hear about your family traditions. If you have anything certain that you do, or if you have any particular type of dessert or food that you make,
share it with us.
Please. Tell us about it, because
what do you do for dinner instead of, we do turkey and stuffing and dressing and cranberry sauce and all that, pumpkin pies and sweet potato pies. What do you do for Christmas? I know what I do usually. I mean, it's usually prime rib.
And we're usually ham. We're usually smoked hams. Yeah. So we would be interested in knowing what you're doing. And I need recipes, people. I love recipes.
Well, and then here's another thing too. Do you have your Christmas tree up yet? I mean, how many of you put up your Christmas tree in October? I mean, tell the truth. Reach out to us and tell the truth about when you really put your Christmas tree up. And do you do Christmas lights all over your house or not? And, I have friends that put up, I'm not going to tell you about EI20 and how many trees she usually puts up. It's ridiculous. I said, you do not do that. She said, yes, I do. This year she didn't do it. I was just like,
Amazed.
But
We
they
have a
new
friend
house
that,
somewhere in California, so they are busy.
right, we have a friend that is a client of my husband's, and I look forward to every year because she puts up 7 or 8 Christmas trees in her house,
Yeah.
and they are all themed.
What's wrong with those people? That's what EI20 does. What is wrong with those people?
I love it. If
Where
I
do they
had room,
put
I
'em?
would do it. I know, but she has all hers are themed. One's a reindeer tree, one's a cat tree, one's a old country Christmas tree, one's a peacock. Who even thought about a peacock tree? It actually has peacock feathers in the tree. Beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. But my mind's like,
Where does she keep all that
I
stuff?
don't know. I do good to do one and then some 2 little, fir trees around. But all that decorations, I am so into it. And listen, I want to know how long people leave their trees up, because
Are there Christmas lights?
yes, because my sister is guilty. If she listens to this, she knows I'm telling the truth. She has left hers up to February and then decorated it for Valentine's Day.
Is she a procrastinator? Or does she
No.
just love Christmas that much?
She put her tree up late. She put her tree up in December, and that's late in our family because usually your tree's up the week of Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving.
But it wasn't always like that.
No.
50 years ago, they waited till the last minute because they would do fresh Christmas
Oh, yeah.
trees.
Cut those trees down.
Fresh
Put them
cut.
up the week before, or a week after
Sometimes
Christmas.
just 2 days before.
Yeah. And we have so much luxury at our fingertips right now. It's
Too much.
Yes, it's
Too much.
easy to just I'm that person. I have to tone it down. Even my husband said this year, I only used about 1/4 of my decorations. So I did take it down a little bit, but I love the intimacy of it. When you walk into a home, or it doesn't matter if it's rent, no matter where you're at, it could be apartment, whatever. When I see people's stockings or see people's little trees, big trees, doesn't matter. It's a representation of the fun they have at Christmas time. So it's always warming to me. I always have a warm feeling when I walk into my house. I love it. I could do Christmas year round, girl. I could be an elf. I need to move to the North Pole. That's where I need to be. And I need to be in charge of decorating. Is what I need to be in charge of.
I don't know what I would be in charge of if it were Christmas, but I would just get everybody engaged.
Oh, she
So
would
I
have
wouldn't have to
everybody
do all the work.
organized. She would be with her little bullwhip over those reindeer and those elves, telling it like it's going to be.
My son-in-law used to say, every time we go to your mother's, she has something for us to do.
Well, it is what it is.
Maybe that's why they
Traditions.
took on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah,
at their
they're
house.
before long they're going to take it all away from you.
I kind of enjoy it though.
Oh, listen, my daughter, she's getting at that age. It won't be long and she'll be taking it all over. And you know what? I will be happy to hand her over the Santa Claus reins, because let me tell you, this year I felt so much pressure at Thanksgiving time. My mother gave me the duty of making the chocolate pies. Now, this woman has made chocolate pies since I was born. And everybody in our family loves her chocolate pies. And everybody every year anticipates them. And they all fight because she will pick 2 individuals out and make a pie for them specifically. Not everybody. She will just find 2 individuals. And this year she turned it over to me. Okay, first of all, I have never made a chocolate pie in my life.
So they were lucky to get one. I mean, you were lucky to get one.
Yeah, and it's not the instant chocolate pudding. This is the traditional cook it on the stove and make it chocolate pie. And I made 5 pies, I think. And I designated 2 for 2 individuals,
Oh,
like
so you
she
did do
does.
it.
Yes, I did. And then I made 3 for the rest of the family to enjoy at dinner. Well, she sat down beside me and she looked right at me and she goes, "Yep, you passed the test. It's great." Do you know, she got up and went to the other end of the table, because, my husband made that big, huge table for us.
It's beautiful.
She went and took a pie and went and put it out in her car.
No, she did not.
She did. She took one of the chocolate pies home with her. Yes.
So I guess she designated herself a chocolate pie.
Yes, yeah. And I guess I have now become the chocolate pie maker of the family. I don't want that job.
I said chocolate pie queen.
Oh, listen, whatever it is, it was so much pressure. And I thought, man, if these things flop, I'm going to hear it for the rest of my life. So I prayed to God, please make this chocolate turn out. And I kept hearing him tell me, use a half a cup of milk less, is what I kept hearing the Holy Spirit say. Use a half a cup of milk less. And when I did, when you cut them, they were just perfect and precise and held together. Them to be runny. Yes, yes. And I don't know anything about chocolate pie. How would I know
My mother did chocolate pies too, and with a meringue on top, and sometimes the meringue wasn't quite perfect.
Yeah.
And sometimes the chocolate was a little bit runny.
Okay,
and she would get so upset. Yeah. But I didn't care if they were a little runny. The taste of them is just,
so good.
Like a chocolate pie.
So good. And so I felt, okay, I've never made these before. See, the Holy Spirit will help you no matter what, even with the chocolate pies, because use a half a cup of milk less is what I kept hearing.
Listen to him.
Yeah. So that's about traditions. Christmas time, I'm so excited. I really hope everybody
Okay, and so now Christmas is over.
Yep.
Just think about it. Christmas is over. And everybody's full of food, and they just look around and say, what am I going to do with this stuff? I've got to get the decorations down, but I'm not going to do it until after New Year's Eve. So, okay, here comes New Year's Eve. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay, so here comes the New Year. Okay, I have learned to not make New Year resolutions. Do you make New Year's resolutions? Do you?
Yes, sometimes I have. Now, do I always stick to them? Oh, absolutely not.
I never stick to them, so I don't make them anymore.
Well, some I have.
I set goals. I call
goals
them, I set goals.
Goals is a good word. Goals is a terrific word. Yeah, that's a good word.
I try to set goals. I try to keep the goals, too. It doesn't always work that way, because what I have planned and what God has planned are two totally different things. And actually, I wrote about that on an old blog that I'll share, because it's God's plan. It has to do with chocolate pie, too.
Oh, yay.
No, I'm serious. And it's
how coincidental.
Yes.
Coinky dink.
Yes, coinky dink that you brought that up. So I'll share that, too. But it is the time that we will get together and have, a bottle of champagne and do the cheers to you. We did that with our children growing up. And we didn't give them champagne. We had champagne, and they had sparkling grape juice.
Right.
But we would sit around the TV, and, when the clock strikes 12 in New York, Happy New Year! Well, next year is going to be a new year for sure, and it's going to bring so many things. And we'll be talking about that, too.
Sure.
So
it's also leap year next year. Is leap year.
Oh, is it really?
29 days in February.
And an election year. That's crazy.
All of that in 1 year.
I did not think about that. And already we know, just with the stuff that we've seen that's going on with Trump and Biden and all the stuff with the economy and all the things that have been brought out that were hidden in the darkness that have been brought out to the light, just makes you start wondering, what should we believe? I mean, what is truthful and what is not?
Sure.
So, that being said, send us what you have planned for 2024. And do you make a New Year's resolution? Or, you might want to change it to saying, I make goals. I make goals, and make it sound important.
Sure.
But one thing I don't do, I don't go, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. That's a joke.
Well, my deal is, I let us hear things that don't involve weight loss. No. Because now with all the semaglutide and the semipeptide and all this stuff, people, if you want to lose weight, you can lose weight. I want to hear about what are your heart goals.
I love that. Yes.
What is your heart? What changes within yourself or changes within your community do you want to make or you want to see happen? We want to hear your voice.
Yes. So don't forget, I'm just going to say it again. If you follow us, make sure you sign up and follow us. Or if you listen to us, follow us, share, and hit that like button and join us every Tuesday. We want you here with us.
Right.
Okay? And this is what I will say. I am wishing you all of you, a very Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year. And Sandy is too. So we'll leave you with this.
My favorite song, Christmas song.
Yes,
by
and now one of my
King and
favorites
Country.
by King and Country.
Which, by the way,
this season is all about the King.
That's right, about the King. So
here we go. Until next time.
CMA Country Christmas. A newborn king to see. Our finest gifts we bring.
If you enjoyed the show today, share it with your friends so they can listen in to our conversations about life, love, and relationships. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Cinderella Chats, the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. We look forward to our Tuesdays together and know you will too.